Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social, non-profit initiative by think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is Maisaa Sarkis, and I interview businesses from around the world. This time, it will be in Dubrovnik, Croatia. My guest today is Vesna Lukić. Hello, Vesna. How are you?
Hi, Maisaa. I'm fine. Thank you. Hope you're doing well as well.
I'm well and very excited to talk about your business and what do you do. So let's go into the details. So tell me a little bit about your business and how long have you been doing it?
Well, yes, I started working in the tourism industry in 2001. I started first working as a tour guide, covering the one-day tours around the city of Dubrovnik. And then when I graduated in 2004, that is when my professional career started. So I started first in leading travel agencies in Dubrovnik, where I was in charge for the cruise ships. That was my biggest love ever, working with the cruise ships as a ground agent. But as the time went on, 2015 came along, and I don't know, I was just sitting in the office one day, and I thought to myself, I said, I have to do something. I love my job. I love all of this, but I needed a new challenge. I needed a new challenge. So together with my husband, we started our own travel agency. It is called Unique Collection. We have 4 employees on a full term, and depending on the season, we have some seasonal workers. So we started first as because I was I was getting tired of the cruise ships and everything. So I wanted to do something that I really always loved, and that is guiding. So in 2015, we bought several buses, and he was in charge for the transportation. And I did so many walking tours. That is my first love. I'm fluent in French, Spanish, and English. So I work a lot as a tour guide. I don't consider that as my job. That is more like my passion, my hobby. And I don't know, I just love doing that. As a destination, we depend highly on flights and cruise ships. So I'm pretty sure that most of your listeners heard about Dubrovnik. If they haven't heard about Dubrovnik, I'm pretty sure they heard about King's Landing, because this is where the famous Game of Thrones was filmed, and this is where we had the Walk of Shame and all those funny things from Game of Thrones. A few years ago, there were so many articles all over the internet saying that you should skip Dubrovnik because it was overcrowded. At one moment, that was really true. We were overcrowded, but together with our local government, somehow the number of calls of the cruise ships were kind of spread throughout the week. So it got better and better. So our biggest problem in 2020 is that the city depends on tourism only. There's no other industry in Dubrovnik besides tourism, unfortunately.
So how many clients did you have before 2020?
Oh, we had more. But Dubrovnik is a really small city. There are only 44,000 citizens living. So we are really, really small. And we had more than 1 million visitors per year. Like 1.5 million. So it was overcrowded at one moment, but I don't know, we kind of get along with it. I cannot say everyone was happy with it. Of course, no one was really, not the locals nor the tourists, because if you cannot walk down the main street of Dubrovnik and just eat the ice cream and enjoy the scenery, you will not be happy with it. So we recognized the problem, and everything was going smoothly in trying to solve that problem, just to decrease the number of visitors per day. That was the initial plan. but seeing Dubrovnik entirely empty in 2020. One thing that I would like to mention about tourism in Dubrovnik in 2020, for example, so I do have the travel agency and I work as a guide. So for example, in 2019, from the beginning of April to the beginning of November, I did like 2 up to 3 walking tours per day. In entire 2020, I had only 8 walking tours.
Yeah, and here we're gonna step into the lockdown. So every country was affected, starting more or less, they have the same time period in March 2020. And the lockdown has a story on each business and each industry. And I would like to know how, although we know that tourism was one of the biggest industries that were affected by the lockdown, since mobility became an issue. And second of all, we needed to travel safely and responsibly. So how did the lockdown affect Unique Collection in general? And I know that you mentioned that you had some, before you had some challenges, but we'd like to hear about the business, how it took it, and the challenges that you had to deal with.
Well, every day is a new challenge, not only for Unique Collection, but for every one of us, especially in Dubrovnik. That is one of the things that I would like to emphasize. When we talk about the lockdown economy in Croatia, it's not the same thing in northern part of Croatia, which you can easily be reached by car, especially from the surrounding countries like Italy, Slovenia, Austria. On the other side, there's Dubrovnik on the very end of it. So the worst impact of lockdown was surely affected in Dubrovnik, definitely. So one of the challenges, well, the financial struggle. The financial struggle is the problem number one. Yesterday on my Facebook, I got a reminder, you know, that memories. So on February 18th, 2020, I was happy, smiling in a car shop, car salon, when I signed the loans to buy new cars. So because in my company we have the luxury cars, so of course, in order to keep up with the competition and especially the brand that Dubrovnik wants to become, we had to invest a lot of money into buying the new vehicles. So I signed the contract and everything, because everything was set. We had the contract signed for the whole season, and it was just, 2020 was supposed to be the year of our business. So that took place on February 18th, and of course March 15th there was a lockdown. Then the problem started. The problem started with all the payments. So at the beginning, it wasn't that much because we still had enough funds from 2019. But unfortunately, as the time went on, we lost it all. So I dare to say that the biggest problem that we are facing now are the financial problems. We signed the moratoriums with the financial institutions that will expire on March 1st, 2021, and that will be a bigger problem for Croatian tourism and Unique Collection as well than the whole lockdown in 2020. We knew that it was too dangerous to depend so much on tourism, because the lockdown and the pandemic of COVID-19 is not the worst, is not the only bad thing that happened to us in the last 30 years. In 1991, we went through war. Croatia was in a war for 4 years. So we went through that, we've survived that. And now the pandemic came along. So we are kind of used to survival. Also the challenges, as I already mentioned, we depend on flights, we depend on cruise ships, and of course we're missing the vaccines. So we are just like the rest of European Union, we're waiting for the vaccines. At the moment we got vaccinated, hopefully the borders will open and we will welcome you again here.
I'm sure that we've talked about that, and I've seen resilience. When you were talking, I've seen that you have a mindset to just overcome challenges, and you are prepared to face any adversity and just look at it in a way, okay, this is happening, how can I deal with it? You know that the advantages maybe are not much, but you try to see good ways and solutions.
Exactly. So I mean, when just have to have that mindset to be entrepreneur. You just one of the big, I don't know, the thing that I really had to accept, and that is actually what made it all easier for me, is the fact it's not my fault. If it was my fault to tear my business down, it would be heartbreaking. But this isn't my fault. I'm not responsible to this. So what we did. So the first month, so the March, is okay, we will survive. The season will start. No worries, nothing will happen. April, pretty much the same thing. And then the May hit. And I was having a coffee to go, because we only had coffee to go, with a friend of mine whose business was also highly affected with the pandemic. He was the restaurant owner, but he's also really passionate into photography. So we were sitting at a beach having coffee, and I said, what can we do? Is there something that we can do or at least to cut down the time at leisure, because at this moment the leisure is killing you? And he said, listen to me, you are a guide and you love doing that. I'm a photographer, everything is online. Why don't we do the virtual walking tours? So it was a lockdown in Dubrovnik. Everything was shut down. The famous Dubrovnik city walls were shut down, and we sent a request to open the city walls, because we're gonna do the shooting. So that is what we did. The lockdown, and most of the 2020, we were just walking around with the camera. He was shooting and I was talking, and I don't know, I think like all other people that are into foreign languages, I have a feeling as if when I talk in a foreign language, it's kind of the problems that I have when I talk in Croatian they don't exist. So that is the thing that I found so positive, and that is something that kept me really calm during this whole nightmare of 2020. Also, what I did is I never get bored. I have to tell you that I never get bored. So I was thinking what I can do to lose the time at leisure, because you have the whole day up to yourself and you know what to do. So I was thinking, okay, so if you Google Dubrovnik, you will find the web pages in Spanish, in English, you name it, but there are no web pages in French. And I said, well, I'm fluent in French. Well, I could write a blog. So I started writing the blog, Visit Dubrovnik, completely in French. And also I got my degree in social media, and so yeah, so it started. So I started the blog, and I do all the marketing on social media, and we filmed the virtual walking tours. So that is what is really keeping me going in 2020.
So you invested in yourself. This is what I can sum up. You invested in taking and understanding how to deal with the social media and to reach out people. So this is a way of staying active and also connect with the outside world and the people in Croatia, despite the block that we have, the limitation that we have, and the social distancing that forced itself upon us. So, and another thing, you
if
just
I can
mentioned
just
about
mention
your blog
one
in French. Yeah.
It's just one thing to mention is that I believe, like all the entrepreneurs worldwide, we cannot sit still and wait for the others to solve our problems. So that is, I believe that is that mindset that you need to start your own business. And yes, you tell me, you wanted to ask me about the blog.
What I wanted to ask you is about the blog, and indirectly to know, was it a tool to stimulate your business, or just to stimulate people to come back and find a different source of income, and people to be interested in what you're doing? Did you find clients and the platform through that.
Yes, actually, yes. And also to mention, the whole web page was made all by I did it. It was me. So I did the social media. Okay, so I have some. I had the education in that, but web design was something that I had I haven't had a clue about it. So I took an online course, and it was just like a complete amateur. I started building my web page. So it was funny when the first inquiry came. I was so proud. I was so happy when it happened. And actually, well, it is something that just to help the tourists coming to Dubrovnik to find out the things they need, like how to rent a car, where to park, because there's a huge lack of parking places in Dubrovnik, where to eat, what to do, how many steps there are in the old town. There are 5,432. So, yeah. If they don't swim, where can they go to the beach? So the stuff like that. We also started a YouTube channel, and that's so. I like that project. That's me. That is something that I love to do, and I gave myself into it.
So you're being an ambassador and
yeah.
doing the tour guide that you said in the beginning. It was not part of it was a passion, and you just used it and packaged it in a different way.
So from the moment the client even thinks about visiting Dubrovnik, I'm their first contact until they leave the airport of Dubrovnik. And I like that personal touch that every program that I offer has. So that is something that keeps me going. And just by receiving all those emails, I cannot wait for the borders to be open. I cannot wait to come to Dubrovnik again. That is something fun. Or when they come to Dubrovnik and say, "You've been guiding our friends, our friends." I say, okay. that is something that I really love.
Do you know how your customers that you said you had customers before lockdown, how they are doing, and the competition? Do they all have the same mindset? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
In this moment, there's no competition. This is something that we are all struggling with, and something that we all have to overcome. So besides having the travel agency and writing a blog, I like to keep myself really busy. So I'm also the president of Bus Owners Union for Dubrovnik County.
Mm-hmm.
Since in my company we also have buses, so the bus owners of this county decided that I could be the presidential figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
To fight for their rights. So that is something that also keeps me going. And as I already mentioned to you earlier, when things went really bad at one moment, when we realized that we will have no tourist season in Croatia, and the payments are getting, problems, and there was the strike of light at the end of the tunnel. So the one thing that started off as a chat on Facebook became one of the biggest initiatives in Republic of Croatia, the Voice of Entrepreneur. So I'm also the regional coordinator for Dubrovnik County. So we all realize that being alone, you will not do a thing. No man is an island, right? So you cannot do a thing all by yourself. So bit by bit, we reached 16,000 members. So in less than 10 months, we reached 16,000 members. And so we're all struggling through this. And your family and friends that are not in the private sector, that are not entrepreneurs, they can have the empathy, they can feel bad for you, but they cannot understand you. So the group of people where I found my positive energy are the ones that are struggling same thing as I do. So when we get together, we talk about all the problems that we have, and with the payments, and with the government, and with the taxes and everything. But I don't know, I cannot drag the positive energy, suck the positive energy out of it. And that is really, really helping us. And me and all most of the entrepreneurs I know, they wanted to join in because I know you get the positive energy and just when you talk with the person who really understands you, it really means a lot.
Well, it's a ripple effect. I totally relate to what you're saying. People used to go to co-working spaces because most of the element or the environment of a co-working space, you don't go to a 9-to-5 job. You're just an entrepreneur or figuring out how to run your business remotely. So you go to co-working space to seek maybe company and also to meet minds who have taken different course and they are thinking of being their own CEO and figuring out ways how to manage their business. And that is one of the most, I would say, determined personalities just to make it there. It needs discipline, it needs consistency. And you need to speak to someone who's passing in the same or who have thought about it and maybe discovered how to work around it, so you get inspired. So, and this is what we do here. We just we know that many entrepreneurs want to take the first leap or step, and inspiration comes from people like you who is coming from a background of an industry that many are maybe saying it might no longer be the same as it was, but today we can see that there are areas of improvement and changes, and it only happens by multiple efforts. So
exactly.
And speaking about future and taking it to another level, what are your business projects, or how's your business going now, and what are the plans for the coming few months for Unique Collection?
Well, Unique Collection, just like all when I talk about Unique Collection, I'm talking about all the small travel agencies, because in Croatia, because we are all facing the same problem, the same problems. So the financial problems, that is definitely the biggest problem for all of us, because ever since the pandemic started, we don't have much understanding coming from our government. So they helped us with to save our employees by giving us the non-refundable funds for their salaries, which is really, really low, but we never get the money like the other governments paid their businesses during the shutdown. We never got any of it. Non-refundable funds to help us keep the businesses also didn't happen in Croatia as well. We were offered some loans with a really low interest rate, like 0.25, but still it's a loan. It's not a help. It's just a loan, and you are limited with the things that you can pay with. So that is the problem, because if you don't have the financial goods, if you don't have financial funds, it's difficult to survive. Especially now when every day it's getting clearer and clearer that the season 2021 will be similar to 2020. So it's a big slap in the face for all of us, because we really hope for 2021 that will be different. Then on the other side, the problem that we are facing, all travel agencies in Croatia, is the same, are the taxes, because the taxes in Croatia are 25% of 25%, while other countries decrease the rate, the taxes to 5%, 3%. So we are much more expensive than the other countries that surround us. So our biggest challenge now is to really justify the service that we offer, keeping the prices, because of course we cannot decrease the taxes if our government doesn't realize that is the biggest problem. So we have to keep our service really high. The quality of our service is really, really high. So that is, again, it all comes around the money. That is the biggest problem.
Yeah, liquidity, having an income definitely makes a difference in expanding and investing in resources, so you can have different projects and plan under the umbrella of your business.
Because all the things that we had, and the cars and the boats and the yachts and the buses, you name it, the expiry date of our moratories is March the 1st. So if we don't find the funds to pay all of that, unfortunately, our vehicles will be taken from us. So we are now, especially through my initiative, the Voice of Entrepreneur, we are fighting strongly to keep our business, because if you take someone their main business tool. I mean, if you take the buses from the bus company, what they have loans that they still have to pay, and you are killing them. Not only their businesses, but you're killing the owners, the people, because having something that you've been building for years, and you know, and the old entrepreneurs understand the same thing. It's not just the business for us; it's like the fourth baby for me. So there's no time off. It's midnight. Okay, I have another email to write. We don't have that 9 to 5. At 5, I will charge my boss extra because I stay overtime. No, it's something that you watch grow and you're so proud of. And then when you see it going down, it is really, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking, and I can understand that when you have your business going on at some point and you build hopes for 2020, things didn't come out as planned. But I can see that you are not giving up. You are not a person who gives up. You always look for alternatives, and you have all the accomplishments that you were talking about, and you are proud about them as well. So some journeys might end, but new journeys uncover, and you create new ways of service.
Making me cry.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not making you cry. I'm very proud about you. You have a blog in French, and that is interesting for many people who from a different world to just know about Croatia. You collaborated with a photographer just to bring the beauty about the country that you are in, and all that where there's still a lockdown. You're a mom of 3. You have a pet at home, a dog to take care, and you're still running your business. That's rarely someone who's smiling would come from the other side of the screen and saying, yeah, there is still hope and I'm gonna push forward. So for Unique Collection to continue, and I don't want you to have tears. There are tears of joy. I should
no, giving up is definitely not an option.
Exactly. And there's a way the universe will work out. There's a way always the universe will work out when you have the intentions, and when you set the right intentions and you sit and revisit your plans, you will find a solution, and you already did. You are already there. So I know the load might be hard, but when you have people around you who believe in you and support you, the journey would be less difficult. So talking about that and the future, tell me 3 things mainly for Unique Collection to take it forward or to take a different shape. What do you need help with?
What do I need help with? Well, then again, it's the financial issues, and I would say, okay, now when you gave that introduction, when you described me like that, I don't know what I can say. As long as I am like the person you just described, I believe that we will survive.
Well, I believe so as well, and everyone actually who knows you, I'm sure he would vet for that, and that's why you're being given some responsibilities, and with responsibilities, nothing is difficult for a person who was entrusted with that, and I don't want to see you just feeling down about it. I'm sure that.
There are ups and downs.
Yeah, there are ups and downs.
There are ups and downs,
and you're
like
a
roller coaster.
It's like a roller coaster, and you're talking from your heart, and you're authentic about just the struggles, which are normal. It's super okay to be that. So with that, I will wrap our interview. I would like to thank you, and dear travelers, whenever things will be unlifted, enjoy Croatia, enjoy Vesna's tour and guide, and her company and her tips how to travel safely and responsibly, and enjoy your experience in this beautiful area. So From now till then, I would like to thank you. And I'm sure that another interview we'll have with you, you'll talk about a lot of projects that will have been taking place in 2021.
Thank you,
So,
Maisaa. Thank you, AlterContacts. It was really, really a pleasure for me. And yes, it's safe here, and it is really calm now. So do come to Croatia, do come to Dubrovnik, and I will be more than happy to take you to the best ice cream in the city.
For me, trust me, I love to travel, and one of the things when lockdown or traveling would be back to normal, and we'll have a green card to go that. I'll have a backpack, and I will just take a train or a bus or a boat and just go to many different places.
And I'll be waiting for you at the airport.
Yeah, and maybe we'll document this experience together.
Great, it's a deal.
Thank
you again, and I hope to see you again.
We'll definitely will have many talks, and we'll just have updates about your business. So for the time being, thank you everyone who joined and enjoyed the video. Feel free to contact Vesna. I'll have all the links in the description of the video below. If you have any inquiries or questions about more information about Croatia, about traveling and sites to see, about her blog, everything would be mentioned in the video below. Just for us to know that you like today's content and you would like to support us, leave a comment, share, and like our video and subscribe to our channel. Your feedback is always important for us to grow and to know that we're doing things right. So from now till I see you again, stay tuned and ciao.